Good morning, everybody. Where's the music? I turn it up a little bit, Mike.
Yeah,
You
crank
want the
it.
music? You want the music? You want the music? There you go. We got some music.
There you go.
I love the
Free
theme
Monday.
song.
Let the
That's
let
good
the people
stuff.
feel it. See, Finch is feeling it.
He's feeling it. I'm
Brian's
loving
feeling something.
We
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 640 of the Dum Yinzers. I just want to say to everybody this morning, welcome back. First off, all I do want to say, happy Veterans Day, everybody. I know that we do have a lot of veterans and active members of the military who do watch our show, so I do want to make sure I say to everybody this morning. Mike, let me go around the horn. Everybody knows Mike from the Dum Yinzers. There he is with his
yes.
OCD deficient background going on. We're gonna work on that. I'll tell him exactly what to do step for step. It won't be
Like
annoying,
I already know what needs done.
Good morning,
with it.
Mike. How are you today, sir?
I know what needs done with it. I'm doing great. I know what needs done with it, and I won't do it until you say something.
I also want to say good morning to our friend Brian. Brian, who is obviously in the corner of his kitchen this morning. How are you doing this morning, sir?
This is not the kitchen.
And Jeff Finch, my man, my main man, Pittsburgh's own Drew Carey, everybody. Jeff Finch, how are you, sir?
All I'll say is, Election Day may have divided the United States, but Steeler Nation is united. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the Pittsburgh Steelers Nation, and for the team for which it stands, one nation, under Khan, indivisible, with Lombardis and Super Bowl rings for all.
I love it. I love it.
Did he make that up, or
love
did
it.
he read that somewhere?
I don't know.
I made it up
Doesn't
about
matter,
an hour ago.
Nice job.
That
Nice
was
job.
awesome. Nice job. Guys, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 640 of the Dum Yinzers. I do want to start it off the top. Good morning to Ron. Ron, this is Victory Monday. Everybody's pumped up. And to make a just kind of refer back to what Finch said, it doesn't matter what kind of state the country or the world or anything is in, Pittsburgh Steeler Nation will always unite. And, they come out and win these big games. It's only going to make things even crazier. They tried to weather the storm in Washington by bringing their own terrible towels. But I got to be honest with you guys. If you watch the game, did you even see any of their towels? It was
Brian, I didn't see one terrible
stadium.
towel of theirs.
What's that?
I
didn't see one unterrible towel of theirs.
No, I didn't see one unterrible towel either. What, Mike?
And Finchy said he saw one, and I don't remember, maybe one, maybe two, but it was mostly terrible towels.
The only reason I saw it was because it was when the Steelers were about to score in the left end zone on screen, somebody in front of the camera was waving a towel, and it was like really close to the camera. And my dad was watching the game with me, made a comment. He's like, "Who's waving that stupid white towel? Get out."
Maybe they dropped their terrible towel, Finch, and it was just like dirty or something, and it was really just a Steelers terrible towel.
Possibly. Let's hope.
I got to tell you, their plan to stop us was it just didn't work. And I find it crazy because you used to go out to Las Vegas, you used to go out to Arizona, and you would see these towels, filling their stadiums. Guys, Washington, D.C., it's a proud place. They're proud of their sports teams. And the fact that we went down to Washington's football field and did what we took over, and our terrible towels were prominent the whole game, I think that is just amazing. And it's just growing, because as a kid, Washington's football field would have never been filled with terrible towels. Now it is. I can't believe what's going on in this country. Pittsburgh Steelers are back. Let's jump on a couple of these comments on the board, and then we're going to get started, guys. Corey Beaver says, how about that win yesterday, guys? My key takeaway from that game is that we could hang with the best. Our defense played at an elite level against one of the best offenses. Both trades proved valuable. I couldn't agree more. We'll get more back to more on that in just a moment. And then also, John, good morning, my friend. He says, theirs are called the crying towels. All right, I like it. One of my favorite things of this weekend is we just went down to Washington and kicked their ass, not only in football, but the night before we did it in hockey. We go down there and beat them 4-2 on the ice, and then we go down the next day and kick their ass on the grass. It was a great weekend, especially here in Pittsburgh. Not so much if you're from Washington, but guys, a lot of fun. There is one game left on the on the NFL schedule for the week. It's the Monday Night Football game tonight between the Dolphins and the Rams at LA. That game's at 8:15. Really has nothing to do with us whatsoever. The Dolphins would normally be in there somewhere, but you know what? They're so bad, it doesn't even matter what they're going to do. So, guys, if you do got football, we got one more night of football, and then tomorrow we'll get back and get ready for the Ravens, and we'll get into that today. But a lot about the game from yesterday. Vince, let me start with you. Is this the kind of game that you've seen coming into this game? Did you think it was gonna? I mean, what was it? 28-27 final score. Come down to the guy that we just picked up. And I got to say real quick, boy, is it nice having a second wide receiver on the team. But anyway, hitting our brand new wide receiver 2 for a touchdown, Mike Williams, to win the game. Is this what you had in mind when you were thinking of this Commander-Steelers game coming up, Finch?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't give the Commanders enough credit. I thought that I knew they're good, right? I knew they were having a good season. That rookie quarterback has been very good, but rookies tend to not do well against the Steelers. I saw a stat. It said something like 26-6 Mike Tomlin versus, was it something like that?
Something
versus,
close to that, yeah.
Rookie QBs. And I thought we'd win by 2 touchdowns. And after the first drive, I felt pretty confident on that pick. But, Washington turned it on and made it a great game. They really are a great team, as are the Steelers. This is definitely the biggest and best, strongest test we've had, and probably the most balanced team we've played all season thus far. I was obviously pleased with the result, but I thought we would win by like 14. I thought we were going to smoke them. And the offense lived up to that, but the defense, we let up a little bit.
And now you can say, when somebody says to you, well, who did the Steelers beat? And then when people say to you, who did your Steelers beat? You could always say now, we beat the team that had the best offense in the league. This was the highest scoring offense in the league coming into the game. This team was scoring at a faster pace than any team in the game. The fact that we came in and made them look average gives me a lot of confidence on the defensive side of the ball. I know Brian has some things that he wants to say regarding the defensive side of the ball. Just 1 second. What at the end of the day, Jaden Daniels looked average at best. He threw for 202 yards, no touchdowns. You can see that he's going to be scary. There's no two ways about it. This guy's going to be scary down the road. And you know what? They could even pull a Cinderella thing in the playoffs this year. Detroit is the best team in the NFC, but beyond that, take a look down the standings. There really isn't many other teams that look too promising. Washington, I don't see why they couldn't sneak in. And boy, would it be nice to get the Washington Commanders if the Steelers would be able to sneak in on our side. But that's a ways down the road. Brian, were you disappointed, or were you okay with the way the defense played football yesterday?
I mean, they had some breakdowns here and there, but they could have forced a field goal when we didn't get the punt conversion, the fake punt.
Yeah,
that would have been a big it just seemed like they didn't even care at that point. There was just like big play. They were in the end zone. If they could have held them to a field goal there, then you could have at least said that's why we went for it, because we knew we could at least hold them to a field goal if we didn't convert.
Let me ask you, Mike. I know that you and I kind of went back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought that the fake punt at that point of the game against a high-scoring offense, giving him the ball right there, was a pretty dumb play in my opinion. But you and I kind of went head-to-head, and I understand that you have an opinion as well. Mike, what was your thought on that fake punt that Brian was talking about?
I did not have a problem with it. You're on the road. You're a slight underdog. You're looking to steal a possession because your offense sputtered right there. You think, okay, we have the number 3 scoring defense in the NFL. We're going to hold it, like Brian said. We're going to hold them to a field goal here. If it fails, if it pays off, hey, we're going to flip the script on them. We're going to either go down, kick a field goal, get a touchdown, or pin them deeper in their territory to have them bring back. I don't mind the call at all. But like Tomlin said, it was a bad call because it didn't work. Those calls, when they work, they are great calls. When they fail, they're bad calls. So it was a bad call, but I don't mind it in that situation. You're coming off the bye. You notice something on film. You have to capitalize on these things. And, they just didn't, but they were able to rally around it and back at it.
Yeah, just real quick, though, I hate to jump in here, but, I mean, an 8th grader can catch that pass for a first down at least.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
And that's what Pierre said, too, is like, in practice, I caught that ball every single time.
Mike,
and
let
that's
me
what
ask
scares
you,
me. When I hear a player say that, I want failure in practice. So
Mike, let me ask you this: Did Pierre make up for it as the game went on?
He did. He helped with the causing the guy to fumble. He kind of batted the ball over to Skoranek. He broke up that play when he got beat on coverage on the underthrow, but he made up. He kept playing, and Cam said after the game, we rallied around him. We kept telling him we all make mistakes. Go out there and rectify it, and he did. And you saw he was trying to make up for it every play he was out there.
Good morning to Feel the Steel on the board. Nice to see you, my friend. Guys, this was only okay. So this was the 9th game of the season for the Steelers. Again, we're 7-2. Russell Wilson's interception yesterday to Chin. We want to get more into Chin here in a little bit, but Chin intercepted the ball. That's only the 2nd interceptions the Pittsburgh Steelers have thrown this year. The other one being on a Justin Fields throw that kind of got batted around a little bit and landed in some other dude's arms. Guys, 9 games in. Does anybody do this? Is there anybody around the league only have
Ryan,
2 interceptions?
that was like a punt too. It was 3rd down and it was like a punt. So it wasn't even that
right,
costly.
exactly. So, I mean, for this team, I mean, yes, you could point to this turnover. You could point to Jalen Warren on the goal line, this, that, or the other. But you know what? We're doing fairly well with turnovers this year. I think, guys, again, two interceptions after 9 games. That's not normal. I think Mahomes has 6, 7, 8 interceptions by himself. So you got to be thrilled with that, right?
Yeah, and I'm looking now, the starting quarterbacks that have 2 or less. You got Lamar, Jaden Daniels, and Justin Herbert. That's it. That's the list. So, yes, for us can be combined as a team, I'll take it. Like Brian said, at that point, it's like a punt, no big deal.
A couple more things. I'm gonna turn it over to Finchy for a couple. Listen, so far Russell Wilson, he's undefeated so far playing for the Steelers. Russell Wilson had 3 touchdown passes yesterday. Russell Wilson is anybody besides the fact that he holds the ball a little too long, which I think plays kind of into the role of Ben. He extends plays,
like Ben.
But he'll get sacked sometime, but a lot of times he does extend that play and he's able to make a play downfield, make a throw downfield, and just extend it and keep things going to where, again, these are things that we haven't dealt with in a few years. This really feels like a really good football team. Things are clicking. And is anybody what would be the most negative thing, Jeff, that you would have to say about Russell Wilson at this point? I got to say that I'm blown out of the water by the way that this guy's come in and performed at this point.
It's hard to find something negative, right? I mean, he obviously he's in great physical shape. He's had plenty of time to get his body where it needs to be, and it shows. The arm is there. His feet, for his age, I believe he's 35. He's moving very well. His mental game is on. He makes great decisions for the most part. Everybody's going to make a bad decision or a bad throw from time to time. And, I was watching him shrug off defenders yesterday, and it was very Ben-esque, as you said. It was. I actually made that comment when I was watching the game, talking to, the people I was with. So it's hard to find something negative about Russ right now. And honestly, nothing sticks out. Everybody makes a bad play from time to time, but his game right now is, I don't want to say MVP level, but he's really doing great. It's hard to argue.
He's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, he's great.
Guys,
he's like the 5'9" version of Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
that's what you're exactly right. I couldn't agree more. And as Jeff said, I'm thinking that watching the game, I'm thinking, look at him extend plays and then fire the ball down the field and make big plays. Guys, let's rewind just a little bit. Of course, one of the big stories from the game yesterday was the injuries. Alex Highsmith goes down. I still haven't got any information. It looked like a pretty bad sprain to me, but we're going to see if it was broken, we just don't know what. Also, Dante Jackson dealt with an injury during the game yesterday. And finally, Broderick Jones, who did come back in after he was injured. Those 3 injuries there. Anything seems serious, Mike? I think the Highsmith is awfully iffy. It's just a matter of waiting to get the scoop back and see what happened. But if we lose Highsmith, I mean, what do you think about the injuries from yesterday?
They're 2 key pieces, Dante Jackson and Alex Highsmith. We need Dante Jackson out there. I thought he should have been the one covering McLaurin the whole way until he got hurt, because Joey Porter, that was his worst game as a pro. And Alex Highsmith, that's a huge loss. You saw the pressure that he was getting off that edge when everyone was double teaming, triple teaming Watt. He was the one getting the pressure, him and Cam. So losing him can be huge. And, once again, he was great in the run game before he got hurt. And we thought we had our 4-man rotation. Now we're down to a 3-man rotation. Then with Jeremiah Moon in there, we lost a lot of depth there. And we started to blitz more yesterday too. Now you're missing another key pass rusher in Highsmith. I think that's going to be the huge injury right there. Getting Cam Sutton back kind of can dampen the blow to losing Dante Jackson if he's gone for a significant amount of time, because Terrell Edmonds is still out there. If we have to put Dante on the four-week IR, we can go out and get Terrell Edmonds back, gain a little bit more depth in the secondary. But that linebacking core, those edge rushers, that's a devastating loss of Highsmith that's out for an extended period of time. And I don't want to play online doctor, but that could look like a broken ankle or the dreaded high ankle sprain. And those two will keep you up for a long ass time.
Yeah, I think you covered a lot on that answer. I agree, Mike.
Oh, sorry.
I think bringing in Preston Smith is going to look like a stroke of genius moving forward.
Yep.
Obviously, he comes in, he makes a couple big plays during the course of the game yesterday. Can't say enough about him. Can't say enough about Mike Williams. It was minimal, but it was huge. The things that they did. Mike Williams had one catch, but it was the touchdown catch. Preston Smith, I think he had 1 or 2 tackles, but it was a big loss in the backfield that forced them to punt eventually. So, with the way that these two guys came forth and was productive in their first game, I love to see it. And as I was telling Mike last week, I think that these guys are going to want to come out and really prove themselves. They come from other teams. One guy comes from the Jets. Those guys are on a free fall. They want to come to Pittsburgh. You're a Steeler now. I want to impress. I want to improve. And I want to be a part of this team because they're a winning team and they look like they have a lot of upside. So I think we're going to see more of that from them. I don't think we have a choice. Of course, if Highsmith is injured, Preston Smith will be getting more playing time. And again, Mike Williams, boy, does it feel good to have a number 2 wide receiver. Van Jefferson, 1 touchdown on the season. Mike Williams, 1 touchdown on 1 reception so far for the Steelers. Van Jefferson, 1 touchdown in 9 games. Mike Williams, 1 touchdown.
Such a hater.
First game after just 3 days of practice. It is what it is, though. We wanted a number 2. We know why we wanted a number 2. We knew that Van Jefferson wasn't a number 2. Do I like the guy? Yeah. He's probably
I can
pretty
see
good,
that
right?
point.
But at the end of the day, he's not a number 2. And if we had to, if Pickens would have went down and we had to go with Austin and Van Jefferson as your 1 and 2, I think you're feeling a lot different about this football team. A lot of people feeling really confident right now, guys. This is the 8th win in a row out of a bye week for the Steelers. This is the 4th win in a row. We go down to Washington. We take over their stadium. We take their soul, basically. Every team that we have beats every team that they have. They, they gave us so much respect yesterday, guys. They didn't even wear their Steeler uniforms. Of course, you see the Washington Commanders wearing the black and gold lately. They didn't even do that. That's called respect. We went down there, whooped that ass. Guys, I'm feeling really good because, again, when someone says, who did your Steelers beat? Guess what? We just beat the best offense in the league.
That we did. And they had a couple big plays, but like you said, Jaden Daniels did not beat us. They held him in check. He only had 4 or 5 rushes the whole game. I thought that was interesting on their part because if I was them, him running would have been a huge part of my offense because that middle of the field was wide open and the way they were spreading us out. I thought there would have been more design runs, and the only one I remember is the one that Keanu Benton stuff for a 1-yard gain.
Yeah,
and I like the way. Overall, we played it, and they fought. You're not going to play a perfect game, and they battled back from their own mistakes. That was the thing. It was their own mistakes, man. It was self-inflicted wounds, and good teams are able to overcome that. Steeler teams in the past couple of years, I don't know if we overcome those mistakes that we did the last 2 to 3 years.
Brian, let me ask you: are we concerned at all that all 3 of the Commanders' touchdowns were rushing touchdowns? Is this a reason to be concerned? We went in. The main goal was to be able to stop Daniels. We did this. 202 yards, no touchdowns, but they did score all 3 of their touchdowns on the ground. Is this a reason for concern moving forward? Again, you're playing the Ravens 2 more times with Derrick Henry out of the backfield. Again, you have the Browns with Nick Chubb out of the backfield. You're going to see, we're going to see different looks, and it's going to be a difficult second part of the season here. Brian, do you find that
Saquon Barkley with the Eagles?
Yeah.
Barkley with the Eagles. Do you think it's a concern that we let 3 touchdowns on the ground? I mean, It is what it is. What do you think?
Our rush defense has been a concern since 2017. I forget who we drafted in 2017 that everybody just seems to love, but he really just leaves hole after hole after hole. And I don't understand our scheme, why our middle linebackers and our defensive line isn't covering the C and D gaps. But it's just a recurring theme. You know, and I hate to bash Watt because I really talked him up yesterday, but he just really he does nothing for the run game. Absolutely nothing. He played the entire game yesterday. He had 0 tackles. I mean, you're paying him $1.65 million, the highest paid guy on the team per game, $1.65 million, and he has a blank on the board. And that's supposedly your best player.
He had one pressure.
Let me give
he
you
did knock the ball out too.
Let me give you my defense on this. When I was, I think, in midgets, I played
If you tell
defensive
me
end.
he's triple teamed and chip blocked, I'm going to lose it.
Well, obviously they showed you that on TV. I don't. You can think whatever you want about that, but my opinion is different. When you play the end position, now when you play a 4-3, it would be the end. When you play the 3-4, it's the outside linebacker. You
Correct.
have to maintain the outside. So let's just say the ball goes running opposite way. You still have to stay home because if a guy comes on a reverse or a guy turns around and counters and comes the other way, there needs to be somebody at that end of the line. And with us not having a defensive end, that's the outside linebacker's job. So if the ball goes in the middle or to the left of the line, he has to stay home just in case. So there's a lot of times that people can purposely run the way that they do so he doesn't get involved. If he goes chasing and then the ball comes back around to the right, there's nobody there. That's pay dirt. So I think a lot of the times that's the case. He's playing smart football. Should he be able to chase guys down up the middle? Should he be able to chase guys to the left of the line? No, it is. You have to stay home. Listen, if he goes chasing, who's left on that side of the field? Nobody.
Ryan, 2 things. Either he's 8 to 10 yards upfield. So what running back runs backwards 8 to 10 yards? Nobody. And
well,
secondly,
those particular plays, I agree with you. Yes.
And secondly, when he doesn't run upfield, he doesn't even try. He just stands there and watches the play. It's not him staying home. He's not even in like a defensive stance. He just literally just stands there and watches the play. It's laziness. Because it's not
the catch up on the board a little bit. I do want to say good morning to Jen. I do want to say good morning. There's a lot going on the board. Ernesto, Mark Malone, everybody, good morning. Good morning. There's a lot going on today, guys. Joining the conversation. We got a lot to go over. It's Victory Monday. One more time, I do want to say happy Veterans Day to all. I do know that there are plenty of veterans within our viewership. So happy Veterans Day to you guys. I hope it's great. Mike, let me come over to you on that opinion of Brian's. How do you feel about what Brian said in response to the point I made?
On those rushing touchdowns, they were all to the inside. That middle of that defense and that defensive line were getting pushed back. So that's not on your outside linebackers. That's on your Cam Haywards, your Ogunjobis, your Keanu Bentons, your middle backers. We need to beef up front. Keanu Benton's not a 3-4 nose tackle. He's 3-4 D end on that Ogunjobi side with our better pass rusher. That's where he needs to be. So we have to upgrade that nose tackle position next year in the draft. I want Benton on the outside. And that's where the problem has been on this team ever since Javon Hargraves left. We haven't had a typical nose tackle. Maybe Alu for a year or two did well there, but we haven't had that guy. When we had Casey Hampton, you can run that 3-4 great. When you have a Javon Hargraves, you can run that 3-4 defense and you don't have to worry about up the middle runs. We haven't had that guy in a long time. Benton's not that guy. Benton's a great piece on the line. But yeah, that run defense is going to be a struggle all year because you can run up the middle because we don't have that run stuffing nose tackle. That's just going to be an issue. That's not on the backers because, guys are getting to the second level, hitting your backers, causing them to not be able to, clean up the running backs.
Real quick, while we're talking about TJ Watt and his no line yesterday, he produced no line in these stats, which I'm not. Listen, if the rest of the team does the job and you have a good defense and you shut down the best offense in the league, what if a guy doesn't have a good day? I'm okay with that. But did you guys realize that Alex Highsmith didn't have a line as well? Didn't he literally tackle the guy when he broke his ankle or sprained his ankle? Go look at Alex Highsmith's line right now.
He threw the ball away.
So Alex Highsmith, our two big outside rushers, and TJ Watt produced 0 lines. Is that a concern? I mean, on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, you win a game against a very good offense. So I don't know what to make of this, guys. Finch, Cam Hayward had 2 sacks yesterday.
You mean this guy?
That's right. There he
Yeah,
is. Big
he,
Cam.
I was happy. I was very happy. I'm always happy to see. I know we have some Cam haters here.
Right.
I'm always happy to see him do well. He is a spiritual leader of the team, and when you see him get that big play, get the sack, it brings everybody else up. And emotion plays a lot in football. And when he's the leader of that defense. When he is doing it, it inspires the rest of the team, and it showed. They played the game and they won the game. So, real quick on TJ, I know he's making the 1.6 million a year and this and that and whatnot, but
a game.
it's so.
A game.
Excuse me, a game. That's what I meant to say. He just got outplayed. It just for whatever reason. All right, he just got pushed around. I know. Once again, he's supposed to be this great guy, and he is. He's a great player. He's proven himself many times so far this season. But it is a team game. The rest of the team came together and made it happen when he wasn't at his best for whatever reason. It could be anything. Maybe he wasn't feeling great. Maybe he has a cold. Who knows? But he wasn't himself, but the team came around and did it. And that's what it takes to win championships. You need everybody to pick up. Russell Wilson has preached this all year in terms of the whole Justin Fields situation. Russ was there when the Steelers needed him. Justin will be there when they need him again. It's going to be the same for TJ. Give the guy a break. He's going to come back next week, and he is going to show up against the Ravens. I guarantee it.
Like Cam, like he was quiet through most of the game, but like a great player, showed up when it mattered most. Those 2 big plays that he made, or when we needed him, kind of like against the Giants, wasn't playing well, showed up, had the strip sack. In this game, he would have the pass breakup, had a key pressure in the end zone, which should have been the safety because he was held.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Like they're showing up. It sucks that I want to see more on the stat line from him, but if you can affect the game in key situations, I'm okay with it. But Watt for the past couple games, the production hasn't been there, so that's starting to make me worried. Is there something wrong with him? Because I haven't seen this stretch of him playing without producing consistent big plays. That's when I'm worried. Is there a nagging injury there that they're not letting us on with? Because it's just weird to see him for this many games in a row not consistently produce.
Plus coming off of a bye week. That's
coming off a bye week.
Yeah,
that was the big disappointment there. I thought we would be sharper coming out of the bye week because we've won. Now this is the 8th win in a row coming off the bye under Tomlin. I thought the team would be sharper. So slow starts might kill this team.
Do you think scheme played a part in it yesterday? Like their defense was scheming in a way to get Watt to attract that attention. Obviously, I mean, double and triple teams. The cameraman was all over it yesterday. You could see it.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe the scheme has a little something to do with it. Not intentionally trying to take him out of getting those plays, but to draw more people his way.
The free up one-on-ones, it could be. And I know we were blitzing. We blitzed. I think this is the most we've blitzed in a long time. There's 19 plays when we sent 5 guys or more. So that was something different. But they have to start moving Watt around on the defense. Left tackle, I've figured him out. Let's just start bouncing him around in different places.
I do want to say, guys, good morning to Ralph on the board. Good morning, Ralph. Guys, let me just kind of give a brief summary here. Steelers beat the Commanders yesterday 28-27 on a late Mike Williams touchdown from Russell Wilson. The Steelers improved to 7-2. The Washington Commanders fall to 7-3 in the division. The Steelers are atop the division, still on the top, first place, 7-2. Baltimore 7-3 after beating Cincinnati last Thursday. The Bengals 4-6 in third place. In the Cleveland Browns 2-7, exactly where I expected them to be. But I don't know. All the national pundits seem to think that we were going to trade positions with the Browns this year. Doesn't look like it's working out that way, guys. But listen to this. Here's a couple big games. Because the playoffs didn't switch is from last year. If playoffs started today, we would still be hosting the Chargers this week. But listen to these 2 games, the 4 best teams in the AFC this coming week, guys. The Steelers are hosting the Baltimore Ravens, and the Kansas City Chiefs are playing at Buffalo. So maybe Buffalo could give the Kansas City Chiefs their first loss. That would put us only a game behind the number 1 seed. But 2 huge games in the AFC. You could probably call this the second round of the playoffs, maybe when the playoffs come around in the AFC again. Baltimore at Pittsburgh, Kansas City at Buffalo. Some big AFC football, guys. get into some things here real quick, fellas. And I don't know if anybody realized this, but Terrell Edmonds did get cut last week. He got cut on Friday. A lot of people didn't even know that, but Terrell Edmonds is not on the team anymore. Let me give you some numbers from the game, guys. We'll go from there. Wilson went 14 for 28 for 195 yards, three touchdowns. That's right. One interception. Jalen Warren, 14 carries for 66 yards. Najee Harris, 21 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. Pickens, 5 catches, 91 yards a touch. Mike Williams, 1 catch, 32 yards, 1 touchdown. Pat Freiermuth, 3 catches, 17 yards, 1 touchdown. On defense, Patrick Queen had 7 tackles total, 6 solo tackles and 1 assisted tackle. Preston Smith, 3 tackles and a sack. Cam Hayward, 2 tackles, 2 sacks. Guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, is it only going to get better?
I mean, it's hard to argue that it won't, right? I mean, if everybody's health is always an issue, right? But we're always assuming good health. I mean, they are gelling right now. The offensive line is doing a nice job. Both of our running backs are just killing it. I mean, you gotta love the way that they're moving, the way that they're shedding tacklers. Russell Wilson, we already mentioned, nothing more to say about him. He's having a pretty stellar little season so far. And George Pickens, I talked a lot of shit on George Pickens on this show a few weeks ago in the chat. I said, he is the number 2 guy for us. He is showing up, I should say. And I think a lot of the big reason that he is catching more balls is because of Russ Wilson. Russ throws a easier ball to catch, And I think we're starting to really see he and George put it together. The national spotlight loves George Pickens right now. It's all you're hearing about. Russ to George, number 14. It's hard to argue that. And if they keep putting it together and they start introducing more and different plays to the playbook, which they've been doing every week, you see something different every week. The Steelers offense, the sky's the limit right now.
That slant pass, the first one didn't hit, but that second one that hit, if they can consistently hit Pickens on the slant, he has the ability in the open field to take that to the house on any given play. We saw it last year when it worked with him and Mason. So I like the connection that him and Russ are getting. I want to see more Freiermuth mixed in, more Mount Washington. And then once Mike Williams gets more and more accustomed to the offense, and on that last play, he wasn't supposed to be out there. He was only out there due to the injury of Calvin Austin because he never practiced that play. And then get him worked in like you said, the offense, the sky's the limit. I'm just Jalen Warren, his fumbles. It feels like he fumbles twice a year. That's what scares me. But the way he was running when Najee was kind of getting stagnant, I like how they were able to change the pace there.
Running with purpose.
Yes, Jalen Warren was a man on the mission, and I think that's what hurt him on that fumble. He just wanted to fight for
He should have just fell down,
to just stop. But
just hold the ball.
But you love the effort. Yeah, exactly. But you love the effort that you're seeing from him. And that offense, I think so too. I wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing more 30 points a game coming up down the stretch. Yeah, I know we're playing some better defenses, but I think they have it.
That offensive line, I think that's something we could talk about real quick. Now we were talking about what the offense is able to do, what they're going to be able to do. You got to figure we're playing with rookies, we're playing with free agents, we're playing with practice squad guys. Zach Frazier is back in the lineup. So we are starting to get a little bit more healthy in that area, but you got to think moving forward and beyond, the offensive line is going to be in good shape. What we're managing to be able to do this year is with this makeshift line. And you are somewhat concerned, obviously, when you get to play big, in the big games against the Chiefs, who have all their ducks in a row. You'd like to be able to put your best foot forward. But in this situation that we're in, it could be a lot worse. Again, we are the number 3 seed in the AFC, just barely. We are in first place in our division. I don't think we left the top of the division all year, besides for a couple times tied with Baltimore. So say what you will about the offensive line. At the end of the day, this team is just playing good football, guys. I don't know if I'm as scared of the second half of the schedule as I was early on, because again, Cincinnati ain't what they were supposed to be. Cleveland ain't what they're supposed to be. And we're playing a lot better than what we thought we were going to be. I'm really looking forward to the second part of the season, guys, and making that push for the playoffs. Again, I think we have just as good a chance as anybody in this league, certainly in the AFC right now.
Yeah, we do, and we haven't been in this position in a while. But I think like Ron said on the board, shore up that pass blocking. If you do that, then my God, look out! This team will compete with anyone in the league. Second half of the schedule, like you said, it's not starting to scare me. I think we can hang with every single team. Baltimore does not scare me until they beat us. Uh, we've won seven
Baltimore
out of the
never
last eight.
scares me ever.
It's just going to be one of those physical games, and I can't wait for it. Even though their defense is soft this year, they have a soft ass defense, and if we can get that run game going against them, I control the clock, limit Mr. Jackson, as Tomlin likes to call him. We might win the AFC North. And
Hey guys, let me throw this at you real
there.
quick. I do want to say good morning to 007. Guys, this is realistic. This is what happened last week. We're talking about this Ravens defense not being what they used to be. And the 2 times that the Bengals played the Ravens this season, the 2 times Joe Burrow threw for 820 yards, 9 touchdowns. He had a 121 rating. In those 2 games, Chase had 12 catches, 457 yards, 5 touchdowns. The Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2 in both of those games. The Ravens figured out a way to win. But I got to tell you, by these numbers, that defense, that isn't the answer.
I think he had 20 catches, not 12.
That's what it seemed. But you know what?
No, it was. It was 11 and 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. That's even better. So
That's
point being is, it really is. So that defense, I'm not afraid of. But again, you have to find a way to score more points than the other team. That's the way sports are. Cincinnati wasn't able to do it with those numbers offensively, but we have something that they don't. We got a pretty damn good defense. This game coming this week, guys, against the Ravens is going to be a knockdown, punch you in the face kind of game. I don't know if you're going to feel that same feeling that you feel from the classic games, but it's still Steelers Ravens. These guys do have a little bit of they do have some, what's it called, Mike? Chalkboard material, built
bulletin
what's
board.
the word I'm looking for? Bulletin board material, because of course, the Patrick Queen trade, who had a big game the other day, Patrick Queen, and also Deontay Johnson. A lot of things between these 2 teams. So this game this weekend is no different. It's going to be no surprise. And at the end of the day, you'd like to be 8-2, but if you come off of this game with a loss and you're sitting at 7-3, you got the Browns, you got the Bengals, you get the Ravens again, I think we're going to be okay. But again, we've beat the Ravens 7 out of the last 8 games we played them. I know it's hard to even believe, but 7 of the last 8 times we played the Baltimore Ravens, guys, we walked away victorious. I feel just as confident going into this game because now we have a quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah,
now we have players. Now we're playing like a football team.
Baltimore has the worst passing defense in the NFL. 294 yards a game. They have the best rush defense at 73 yards a game because everyone's passing on them. Like now with Russ and George and Mike Williams, I look for an explosive passing attack next week or this week coming up against Baltimore. It's going to be nuts. I think the key for us is going to be stopping Derrick Henry. You stop him.
Oh yeah.
Lamar's not going to scare me too much, but my God. The Steelers should just come out passing against this team. It just,
Mike, is it going to go to our advantage? Is it going to go to our advantage, Mike, the fact that we just played Jalen Daniels coming up on a game against Lamar?
Well, like Coach Tomlin was asked that question, and I think he had a pretty good answer. I'm going to butcher it here, trying to paraphrase it, but he provides an outline. Lamar Jackson's a 2-time MVP. Janie Daniels is just he's just a rookie playing well, was playing at an MVP level, but we faced Lamar Jackson numerous times. We beat him numerous times, but yeah, it provides a little bit of a blueprint. You get an idea, but I expect Lamar to run more than 5 times than what Jaden Daniels did. But it does help. And then now having Justin Fields running the scout team as Lamar, as Jaden Daniels, that's going to help even more.
Absolutely. Not everybody has that luxury. Not everybody has the number 2 quarterback that we have and are able to prepare in the way that we are with Justin Fields. So that's huge. Guys, we're going to be getting into the grades and the game balls here in a moment. So just go ahead and start thinking about how you may grade some players and who you may give your game ball to for the week. I'm going to go through these scores for the week to kind of get caught up. The Ravens did beat the Bengals last Thursday night, 35-34. As a matter of fact, everybody that could have helped us didn't help us this weekend. I thought maybe, just maybe, the Broncos could pull it off against KC, but that didn't happen. But let me just blow through these scores. That's right, the Panthers. The Panthers winning more games now that they're derailing their team. Everybody's leaving, but the Panthers are winning 20-17. They beat the Giants. The Giants just may be the worst team in the league. Speaking of the worst team in the league, the Chicago Bears, guys, we thought this team was supposed to be good. They had a quarterback. It's supposed to change things around. They got a defense. They got players. Bears. They take a L to the New England Patriots.
They need a coach.
They do need a coach who is arguably one of the worst teams as well. The New England Patriots win 19-3. San Francisco 49ers beat the Buccaneers 23-20. The Kansas City Chiefs on the last field goal of the game missed 16-14. The Chiefs win that game. Buffalo beats the Colts 30-20. Vikings in a unusually low scoring game 12-7 over the Jaguars. The Saints 20, the Falcons 17. The Chargers 27, the Titans 17. The Cardinals over the Jets big 31-6. Eagles 34-6 over the Cowboys. The Cowboys have not won a game since they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Detroit Lions 26, the Texans 23. That game was last night. That literally was the only game that helped us out, giving the Texans a loss in our conference. Tonight. Again, the week wraps up with a Dolphins at Rams game. Mike, any preference in this game? Do you even care who's going to win? Rams hosting the Dolphins. What do you think, man?
I want the Rams to win. I want that Miami team to crumble and dismantle. Mike McDaniels might be the most overrated coach in the NFL. Him and Mike McCarthy might be the two most overrated coaches in the NFL. At least McCarthy, I think, won a Super Bowl with Green Bay.
Also, I do want to say this real quick about the Lions. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bri.
I was just saying Mendenhall won that game for Green Bay.
Mendenhall, our buddy. Guys, also I do want to say about the Lions real quick as I get off the NFL teams. The Lions became the first team since the Baltimore Colts in 1970 to throw 5 interceptions in a game and win. The Detroit Lions, again, 5 interceptions thrown, and they won. We've thrown 2 interceptions all year, so kind of crazy when you look at it that way. Guys, let's get into the let's bust through some quick grades real quick. I'm going to come around, and what I'm going to do, Mike, instead of you giving every single grade, I'm going to go right around, and I'm going to ask you the quarterback, Finch running backs, Brian receiver, so on and so forth, just so we can get through it. Mike, what do you give the quarterback play for the Steelers yesterday against the Washington Commanders? Of course, Russell Wilson with the big game. He goes 14 for 28, 195 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception. What do you grade the quarterback play for the Steelers yesterday, Mike?
Throw the stat line out the window on this grade. A+, he did not blink in the face of adversity and got us the win and the hard count, baby.
Oh man, that was the play of the game. The hard count.
It was.
I'm actually going to go Brian. Kind of make it look like we're just go in order. Brian, what do you grade the running backs on the game yesterday? Of course, this is an A, B, C, D, F grade system. Najee Harris, again, 53 yards and a touchdown on 21 carries. Jalen Warren, 14 carries, 66 yards. All in all, there was some good, there was some bad, there was some ugly. But at the end of the day, Brian, what do you give these running backs?
Like a C-. And I think a lot of it had to do with the coaching. On the one series that Warren fumbled, we ran off the left guard. We ran off the left guard. And then he fumbled at the one. It was a strip. It could have been, forward progress, whatever. Then we come back on the next series, and we run Najee like a sweep right. I'm like, what the heck?
Right.
Just run it right off the left guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, C-.
Right. Finch, I'm going to come to you. Tight ends, Finch. And I got to tell you, of course, Freiermuth did have a good game. He had 3 catches, 17 yards, and a touch. But there was a play early in the game when Big Mount Washington caught the ball, started running up the field. The defender got low, but D. Washington stopped, got lower. How do you get 6'8" get lower than the guy across from you? He bowled him over. Finch, what do you give these tight ends for their performance yesterday?
It's hard to give them anything but like maybe an A-. You know what I mean? They weren't perfect, but they played a good game. They helped to open up the run game. I saw some nice blocking. They were getting open consistently. Obviously, Muth had a couple of pretty key catches in the game. Don't really have much to say bad about our tight end situation in the game. I thought they played solid. They did what they had to do to win. I liked it.
All right, Mike, I'm going to come back to you for the wide receivers. I'm talking new guy. I'm talking old guys. Mike, What do you give these wide receivers for yesterday?
Oh, man.
Amazing touchdown catch by Pickens, a game-winning touchdown catch by the newly acquired Mike Williams.
Yeah, and
Jefferson and
took that
Austin did a
big
few
hit.
things every now and then. What do you give these
Yeah.
receivers, Mike?
I'm gonna give. You know what? I'm gonna give them a. Let's go with a B plus. You know, I want to see Austin get open more. I want to see Van get open more. But yeah, B plus. They're dragging the grade down because George Pickens had an A plus game. Mike Williams, his limited snaps had an A plus game.
Brian, over to you. How about the offensive line? What do you give the Hogs up front? Did they pass in your book? Again, there was a lot of pressure. You know, a lot of people. It was porous. They were getting after Russ. Russ was able to extend the plays, make plays, and obviously win the game. But all in all, offensive line, Brian, what do you give these guys?
I give them a C minus as well. You know, it's nice because I think across the board, with the exception of like Russell Wilson and maybe a couple other players, most of our guys played their C game, and we were still able to beat one of the best teams in the NFL with our C games. Yeah, definitely a C minus because sometimes they look like they had A's. They got A's on a couple quizzes, and then they got an F's on a couple quizzes as well.
Can you imagine how good this line's going to be when it gets healthy? As Mark Malone just put up on the board, D plus.
Right.
You know, when this line is playing good, we should be a pretty damn good offensive line. Finch, we're going to hop over to the defensive side of the ball with you. What do you give this defensive line for its game yesterday? Benton, Cam, Ogunjobi, Finch, defensive line.
You got to give it maybe a C plus. They definitely let up some run plays that they shouldn't have let up, but we've been doing that all season. The run defense has not been stellar, but they got after it. Once again, Cam had a nice game. People stayed home and played smart football. They were staying where they need to be and making the plays when they needed to be made, but they could have been a lot better. It would have been nice to see the D-line take a little more of the heat off of Watt so that he could be freed up. But it didn't work out that way. I'm going to say average at best. It's a C. They won the game, so you can't really say much worse than that.
Mike, linebackers. Patrick Queen looked damn good.
Oh my God.
Again, Preston Smith stepped up. But
Yeah.
again, there was two linebackers that had zeros all the way across the stat line.
Yeah, and those two bring down the grade. But Patrick Queen, Landon Roberts was just steady. You really didn't notice him, but Patrick Queen, he was flying around. This is maybe the best game we've seen him play all year. But for Watt and Highsmith, man, they're going to drive this grade down to a C minus. And in the middle of the field, again, backers not getting deep enough on some of those plays. Yeah, C. C. Plain old C.
All right, Brian, we're gonna come to you with the DBs. We had Cam Sutton back. Joey Porter had some issues yesterday. Dante Jackson's dealing with an injury. Terrell Edmonds is not on the squad anymore. Brian, secondary, top to bottom. What do you give these guys?
Before I give a grade, I want to bring up the WNBA and the NBA super quick. Don't go anywhere, people. Don't click off here. My biggest complaint in the NBA and the WNBA is like a LeBron James, a Luka Doncic, a Caitlin Clark who's whining and complaining on every whistle, every call, every non-call. What the heck was up with Joey Porter Jr. complaining after he rapes the wide receiver and gets a flag called on him, and he's sitting there complaining to the refs? I'm like, dude, you had your arms on him for 10 yards.
That's typical of every DB.
All right.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's what corners do.
I would give them a solid C because they did make the tackle at the sticks or right before the sticks on the fourth, whatever it was, fourth and eighth or whatever it was, to just kind of seal the game before the hard count. So I give them a C.
All right, Finch, I'm going to come to you. So we got through the offense, we got through the defense. Finch, how do you feel that the special teams performed? Of course, there was a fake play that got blown up, but of course, we did cause a fumble very short thereafter on a punt. Pierre seemed to make up for the mistake. Jeff, what do you give this special teams? What do you give Danny Smith's boys for the game yesterday?
Well, first off, to everybody who's watching right now, have you hit the like button yet? Did you hit that yet? Do it right now. Just hit like. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that one play, the fake punt is the one blemish, right? For the most part, we didn't give up any big returns. of course, every kick that Boswell had, he made. You can never complain about that guy. It's got to be a B, and it's because it's not an A because of the fake punt. The scheme of the fake punt was great.
Yeah.
Mike made a good point earlier. Mike Tomlin must have seen something in film where he knew that was a potential, and he was wide open, bro. And he fanned on it. So
in that play, do you?
I'm sorry.
And you don't want to give up that you're going to be doing a fake punt, but on that play, do you have somebody else who's not Miles Killebrew throwing the ball out there? Maybe, you know what I mean? I understand you don't want to give it away by putting somebody back there that's a quarterback, but on the other hand, a Miles Killebrew is the one throwing that ball. It could have been thrown a lot better, but the guy is far from a pro quarterback.
Right. I heard Miles Killebrew lettered in chess in high school.
I tell you what, though, that pass though was a beautiful pass.
Yeah,
it was like
wasn't
a
a bad
Russell
pass.
Wilson moon ball. It was a perfect spiral in the breadbasket. He could have ran it and handed it to the guy, and it would have couldn't have been any perfect.
And
Mike,
they
overall,
practiced that play. They practiced it.
Absolutely.
I think that Pierre might have had just a little bit of that, like the stars in his eyes, right? He's like, oh my God, the ball, it's in the air. It's coming to me. Nobody's around. I'm going to,
Yeah, he was thinking touchdown instead of catch the ball.
Yeah, I'm not saying he was looking upfield, but his mind might have been upfield, yeah.
What do you give this team overall, Mike, for the way they performed yesterday? Top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams, coaching, everything.
A combined group effort. I'm going to give them a B plus. It was not a perfect game, but they fought through it, and they were able to overcome their mistakes and win. Made the key plays when they needed to. So I'm going to give them like B plus.
Brian, what do you grade the coaching?
Oh, Mike Tomlin's awful. But he didn't really mess anything up yesterday. So, I mean, I think that's the best Mike Tomlin could ever do. I mean, I give him an A plus. And I'm telling you, the fake punt, that was the smartest play. I would do it again. I don't care that he missed it. I don't care. And here's the funny thing, that a good quarterback can make up for mistakes. I think the whole team played like a C, but 3 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and we're complaining about the offense. When's the last time we've had 4
Right.
touchdowns and we're complaining about the offense?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what we do here, baby, in Pittsburgh. I do also want to say good morning to, good afternoon now to Yinzer Joe on the board. Great seeing you. Let me get the game balls, guys. Mike, I'll start with you. Who gets your game ball from the game yesterday?
Russ. And Russ, we trust, man. It's a
You know how excited
cliche,
Mike was
you win the
about Russell
quarterback
yesterday? After the game, he literally got a Danger Russ sandwich from Permanis. It really happened. I'm not just saying it. He did get a Danger Russ. How was it?
It was surprisingly good. I was debating between that and the Angus, but Russ threw that touchdown. Like, okay, I got to get the Danger Russ.
He you wanted the corn in it, right?
Oh, yeah. Extra
Brian,
corny, baby, like my man.
extra
Russ.
corny. Brian, who does your game ball go to for yesterday, man?
Well, and one of the sports I lettered in high school was ping pong. And I had this fantastic shot. Like, I was really good at ping pong, amazingly enough.
You lettered in ping pong?
It's actually table tennis,
Okay.
but yes, I'm fantastic at table tennis. So I had
Just
this
checking.
one
All right.
shot where, like, I'd let the ball almost hit the ground, and I would shoot it about 15, 20 feet into the air with tons of spin on it. So when it hit the table, it'd go flying. That reminds me of Russ Wilson's moon ball. Like, why does he throw it 90 feet in the air? But Russ Wilson.
It's interesting, yeah. Finn, so we got 2 Russell Wilsons. Who do you give your game ball to, man?
You know what? Since you guys took Russ, and very deservedly so, I'm going to go to the defensive side and say Patrick Queen. What a great game he had. He really held the defense together yesterday. When they needed a play, it was Cam and Queen doing it, and it was nice to hear his name called. You haven't heard much from Patrick Queen lately,
Right.
And I pray that a couple of our other higher end players, not Watts so much, but maybe Fitzpatrick, takes a look at that and says, man, that guy is stepping up. He's coming in here. He's making a difference. That was especially Fitzpatrick. That was him last year. Maybe this is the start of a beautiful thing with the back half of our defense. So give it to Patrick Queen. I thought he was great, and he might have been the difference.
That was the Patrick Queen that I was hoping that we were getting. This was the Patrick Queen as I was creating this, every single game in my mind as the season went on. I expected him to be a lot more all over the place. So let's hope that he continues to do the same. I was very thrilled with him. I'm giving my game ball guys to the newcomers, to Mike Williams and Preston Smith. I think that they both came in and made huge plays to help us win this football game. Welcome to Pittsburgh, gentlemen. My game ball goes to them. Guys, a couple things we're going to do here before we start to wrap it up. This show went extremely fast. There was just so much to cover. Mondays, you know how that is on Steeler Mondays, Victory Mondays. But let's go over a few things. Otherwise, the college football, big disappointment for the Pitt Panthers. They dropped to upset by Virginia 24-19 in this football game. They play Clemson next. That game's at Saturday at 12 o'clock. Penn State, they beat Washington 35-6. They play Purdue next Saturday at 3:30. That's who Ohio State just beat. Ohio State beat Purdue 45-0.
Yeah, they thumped them.
They thumped them.
We needed that.
It was sick.
Ohio State's next game's at Northwestern next Saturday at noon. And Bryan, West Virginia, they beat Cincinnati 31-24. They will be hosting Baylor on Saturday at 4 o'clock. We'll get more into those games as the week goes on. Again, there was a lot to squeeze into the Monday show. I do apologize on the board, people. We would love to get to every single one of you. We really, truly do. There's just so much today. Guys, also in a couple other games with all ranked teams, Georgia, they take an L. Ole Miss at number 16 beats Georgia 28-10.
Yeah.
16 Ole Miss 28. Number 3 Georgia 10. Alabama, they thumped number 15 LSU. Alabama came in with number 11. They win 42-13 over LSU. In our local high school football, pretty big in the area here. Only two teams survive from our area, guys. Central Valley and Elwood City are continuing on. The Aliquippa Quips, they lost. Everybody knows DBU, defensive back U. They have their 17-year streak broken. They went to the Heinz Field game for 17 straight years in the Whippeal Championship game, and that run ends. They take an L to Thomas Jefferson over the weekend. But
That's outstanding.
Come on,
It's so hard to believe that, but it's true.
Hall of Fame high school.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Happy about Elwood City. Good job, Elwood City. Keep it up, guys.
South Park,
we're having one great season.
And they haven't lost yet.
Not yet, no.
Yes, South Park won 19-9 over Mohawk. That's where I'm from, South Park. I know it's not Beaver County, but yeah, South Park out of nowhere.
Wins. And I think I think that they'll be playing either Elwood City or they're 2A.
They take on Elwood City.
Oh, big game. So Elwood against Bryan's High School, South Park this coming week. So that's going to be interesting as well. Guys, again, the sweep was on. Pittsburgh went down to Washington and swept all their teams, the Capitals the other night. And again, the Steelers, the 28-27 victory over the Washington Commanders yesterday. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
Real quick, Ron, thank again for the donation, sir. Greatly
Yes,
appreciated.
Ron,
As always, sir. So, yes.
Thank you, Ron.
Check out the2dumyinzers.com. Head on over there, everyone. I have a new blog post up about this game. So check it out at the2dumyinzers.com. Remember, like and subscribe. Turn on the notifications, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's time. Go check out the website, www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. Guys, it's time for the trivia of the day. Nothing changes. It remains the same. Whoever the Steelers play this week is who the trivia is going to be about. So, unfortunately, we get to talk about the shitbirds for a few days. You guys ready? Everybody on the board, play along. Mike, Brian, Finch, here we go. The Steelers lead the overall series with the Baltimore Ravens 35-25. But what is the Steelers' record against Baltimore in the playoffs? The Pittsburgh Steelers lead the overall series with the Baltimore Ravens 35-25. What is their record versus the Ravens in the playoffs? That's the question of the day. Take a minute to think that over. Guys, everybody on the board, everybody at home, we're live. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. All right, so guys, the Steelers lead the overall series with the Baltimore Ravens 35-25. What is their record versus the Ravens in the playoffs? Brian, I'm going to start with you.
Perfect.
Brian, what do you think their record is in the playoffs against the Ravens?
I'm not sure of this, but I'm going to guess 3-0. 3-0.
3-0. Okay.
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
I guess.
All right. Got you locked into place. Finch, over to you next. The Steelers lead the overall series with the Ravens 35-25. What's their record versus the Ravens in the playoffs?
I feel
Brian
like
says
we've
3-0.
lost to them twice, I want to say. I think we're like 3-2 versus the Ravens in the playoffs. I'm going with 3-2.
All right. Field of Steel says 1-0. Finch says 3-2. Mike, to you. The Steelers lead the overall series with the Ravens 35-25. What's their record against the Ravens in the playoffs?
Yeah,
I
I'm leaning towards
I have a
like
3-0.
yeah.
I have a 3-2. I got all kind of things going on here.
Yeah, like Ron says 3-1, 4-1. I'm in that range too. I'm gonna go with 3-2. No,
All right.
4-2. I'm gonna go with 4-2.
All right,
4-2.
4-2. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, guys. Question of the day. One more time. The Steelers lead the overall series with the Ravens 35-25. What is their record versus Baltimore in the playoffs? Brian says 3-0. Finch says 3-2. Mike says 4-2. A couple different answers on the board. Gentlemen, the answer to the question, and I do know this personally because I was at the only Baltimore Ravens win over the Steelers. It was in Pittsburgh.
Was it Flacco?
3-1. It was Flacco, and it was disgusting.
Yeah, that was the one I was missing. I forgot that we lost to Flacco.
Because everybody lost, and it was packed with Ravens fans after everybody left, and they were just kind of doing what they want. It was disgusting to see. I'll just put it that way. But guys, yes, 3-1. They did beat the Ravens 3 times, I believe, and they beat them when they went to the Super Bowl a couple other times, and they took the L. Yeah. So there you go, guys. The answer 3-1. So 35-25 overall against the Ravens, and 3-1 in the playoffs.
4-1.
You know. Hey.
So we own them. So we own the Baltimore Ravens.
There's nothing that says that we don't.
No.
That's why I said earlier I'm never ever scared of the Ravens ever. We always have a shot versus that team.
And everybody that's going, well, they're going to beat you. They're going to win the division. I seen some clown going down through the board before when we were talking, saying something. You know what,
they could.
dude? We've won 7 of the last 8. That's something that people aren't realizing. And again, anything could happen this Sunday. Don't get me wrong, but we won 7 of the last 8. You don't do that against good teams. I mean, come on, that's pure domination. We dominate them as of right now, and we're going to beat them again this weekend, guys. We'll get more into this series and game going through the week. Mike, anything before we start getting ready to wrap it up?
I got nothing, man. Just enjoy the win, and then it's Ravens week. If that doesn't get the juices flowing, I don't know what will. I'm going to be a nervous wreck all week long.
All right, Finch, you're not as nervous. What anything extra before we get ready to take off for today, brother?
Well, one extra thing I will say is thanks for having me on the show. I really have fun when I come here, and you guys are awesome. Brian, it's nice to talk to you, and I look forward to doing this some more. But no, I'm not nervous about the Ravens, baby. Not nervous at all. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to go in there and thump them. I think it's going to be a very similar game to what we just played yesterday. They've got the Ravens are, I should say, the Commanders are kind of like Ravens light. Right, they're like the Diet Coke of the Ravens right now. So it's like, yeah, we got a little bit of that aspartame in it, but next week it's straight sugar. We're gonna be sweet. We're gonna take it down. I like the Steelers this week.
All right, my thing at the end of the show today, guys, is I cannot wait. Of course, the big showdown comes Sunday, but before that is the big showdown Friday night on Netflix. That's right. Mike Tyson takes on Jake Paul on Netflix Friday night. What a weekend coming up. There's going to be a lot of blood, sweat, tears, punches in the mouth, all kind of fun stuff coming up this weekend. I cannot wait. Again, Friday is the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight. I'm saying if he's off his medicine, Mike Tyson wins this by a landslide. If
his
he goes
press
unmedicated,
has been so good.
Yes.
He's back to that old, I'm going to eat your children. Like he's doing that kind of shit. I love it.
That's the guy that's going to win.
That's
exactly.
the guy I want to see win that
If
fight.
he comes in tame and medicated, he loses. I want to see the Mike that you're talking about, Finch. Absolutely. Guys, again, a lot of things to go over through the rest of the week. There was a big situation that went on during the Pitt game that was questionable. A lot of things we just didn't get to have time to get into today. But through the rest of the week, continue to join us. We're going to get ready for the Baltimore Ravens. We have all kind of stuff. We got the big fight coming up Friday night. A lot of things. And again, this debate, this referee thing, I want to talk about over the next couple of days goes on with the referees. Nowadays, there's no accountability held. They make a mistake in a game, a big mistake that changes the course of a game. And what do? They send you an email Wednesday that says, oops, sorry.
My bad.
Not a big fan, no matter who it happens
stupid.
against, because again, you want the right thing to happen through the course of a sports game. So we will talk about that. I have a lot to say, plus a lot more, but I do want to thank, as always, Finch and Brian. I love seeing you guys on the show. I do want to say to everybody, happy Veterans Day. I want to thank everybody for coming to hang out and check us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We really, really do. We wouldn't do it without you. I want to thank everybody on the board. You guys are always awesome. Last but not least, the Steelers on the poll. Mike has a poll up during the show today with will the Steelers win the AFC North? Guys, 80%. 8 out of every 10 people did say that the Steelers will win. 20% said they will not win, and it might have been that weirdo Chiefs fan or whatever that was that popped in earlier.
Right.
I didn't even have time to get on him. But guys, again, thank you so much. It was so much fun. Great being back again. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. I hope you enjoy your day. Monday Night Football tonight. The Dolphins at the Rams, 8:15. We'll be back tomorrow, first thing, to do it all over again. Everybody have a great Monday. For Finch, for Brian, for Mike, myself, everyone have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.